Yeah, never mind this 7-9 bullshit. We're probably going to go 4-12. Coming to you pre-tape from the Best Go Show studios, this is the Best Go Show. I'm your host, Albert Aguilera. That's my producer, Curtis Sage. Curtis, I'm starting to think we get better ratings than the Rams do.
We do. The Rams are not getting good ratings in Los Angeles. Why is that?
I don't think people are jumping on board with them.
Not
that,
yet.
Plus there's a bunch of other shit to do in LA.
Oh, there's a lot of other shit.
I mean, for the longest time we had the argument is LA an NFL city? We have so much going on here.
Yes.
And so many things to do and so many other events to watch on television.
Yes.
We don't know if a subpar producing team is something worth wasting your time on.
And it doesn't really matter when it gets down to it because, obviously Rams fans, I know I'm going to disappoint you, but Kroenke didn't move here because he loved the Rams being back in Los Angeles. He moved here because of real estate. We'll get into that for another show. But, guys, today is a Lakers and Rams episode. We are going to talk about Lakers. They're 9-10 in the West. They're 9th in the West, but, only a couple games separate the Lakers from, 6th place in the West. So they're not doing too bad. They're kind of a 500 team, which is great. We've been talking about how, their upswing a lot, but now injuries are starting to mount. But on the other side, we have an easy December coming up. We have a few tough games coming up on the road, but we have an easy December coming up. Then we're going to talk about the Rams, Jeff Fisher versus Eric Dickerson. Albert is on Fisher's side. I'm on Eric's side. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Goff's performance against the Saints. And the Rams have the Patriots coming up. So let's get started.
Let's get started. Guys, the Lakers are 9-10. They're doing way better than anyone thought they would be doing, including myself and Curtis over there.
Yes.
And we're really getting excited. And even though the team is a below 500 team, they are, unlike the Rams, very exciting to watch even when they lose. Unfortunately, Swaggy P just got the Achilles problem. He'll be getting an MRI today. Russell's got the knee problem. Randall's got the hip problem. These guys that are like 20 years old are acting like old men at the nursery home. What's going on?
Well, Nick Young is not 20. He's the oldest guy.
I think he's 29?
I think
30?
he's the oldest guy on the team. Now, let me just say this. As many of you guys know, I had an Achilles rupture.
That's how you and Kobe got linked to each other.
Yeah. I have Achilles rupture last year. I'm still recovering from that. So that was a full tear. That's not a partial tear or a strain. So if you don't know what happens with Achilles, a strain is a partial tear of your Achilles. So your tendon is thick. If you partially tear that, imagine it being like Velcro kind of pulling apart. That hurts a lot. When I had my full tear, it didn't even hurt. People, were all praising Kobe for going and shooting his free throws, but your leg just goes numb because it's so beyond painful that it just goes numb and you don't feel anything, and that's what most people say. But a tear hurts. So he was lying on the ground, and even a little bit of a tear, even a little bit of that Velcro separating apart, you can imagine that. It's like tearing any muscle. It's going to hurt. But a tendon's not a muscle. There's not nerves, actually. There's just nerves around it.
Look at you,
Here's
WebMD.
Here's the
there.
problem. I know. I'm gonna have a.
Do you have cancer now?
I'm gonna have a wiki page. So here's the deal: is if Nick Young has a partial tear of this thing, it's not good. He was walking around in a boot. People were like, "Oh, he's up and walking around in a boot last night after the game." I don't care. That's not good either. You're not even supposed to be walking on it when you have a partial tear at all, putting any pressure on it. What you want to do is you want to have that leg up. You want to be like reclined for a couple weeks. You don't want to be doing any jumping and running, and that's, last time I checked, what happens in basketball is you jump and run. So he's not going to be on if he has a partial tear, then he's not playing basketball for a few weeks. I'm going to say 2 or 3 weeks for sure, maybe a month, because you got to let that heal all the way, because if you don't, you run the risk of tearing it completely, and then then it's career over as far as I'm concerned. No, Kobe came back, but he still wasn't the best player. So Nick Young, here's the problem, is that we're talking about how great Nick Young is this year, and then this happens. And so that's kind of a bummer for the Lakers, because he's been really a strong part of their team and really a team leader, surprisingly enough. So this is kind of a bad blow to the Lakers.
Well, and right now we're 9-10. We've had our defense. We're like 109 and 109 points, 4 points again.
Yeah, now we're giving up more.
We're giving up 149 points to Golden State. We're giving up 118 points to the Bulls. And even in games that they win, they're winning these games 121 to 119, 118. And you're kind of like, the day your offense doesn't show up, you can't be giving up 115, 120 points a night.
The Lakers are not a lockdown defensive team.
No, it doesn't help that you're banged up. You got 3 of your starters that are off. They're not even on the bench because they can't be on the bench because they're so hurt.
Well, that creates rotation problems. Well, Randall played a little bit in the last game, but that creates some rotation problems when you have 3 starters not able to play or barely playing, then your great second unit is kind of wonky. They started Metta World Peace. That dude is he's playing 2 minutes a game, maybe, and now he's starting. I think he's going to start against the Bulls.
That's what happens when injuries start to melt.
So they do. But I don't think we have to worry too much. I mean, I think D'Angelo will be back before Christmas. Randall's going to be fine. He's got a little hip. He's going to be okay. Swaggy, I'm worried about. I know what that injury is. If it's a partial tear, he's not playing until after Christmas. I mean, I think he'll be. I'm not a doctor, but I had this injury worse than what a partial tear. I can't imagine him playing until after Christmas. That's just all there is to it.
Well, the good thing is that, we have a couple of tough games coming up right now on the road. We got to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
But the month of December, we got 16 games. Realistically, I think the Lakers can win 10, 11 games.
Really?
Because we're playing we got Cleveland. We got the Clippers.
Cleveland just lost to the Bucks.
Toronto.
So.
And who else?
Memphis.
And Memphis. Those are the only 4 teams that we play in December that are over 500.
Yeah, but do we play the Clippers twice or just once?
Just once.
Okay. So, maybe
and that's technically a home game.
So we're going to come out of this week, Laker fans, with a few losses, and I'm not really that worried about that. They're going to probably lose against Chicago and Toronto. They may win against Memphis because Conley got hurt.
They can have 20 wins by the end of the year.
That would be awesome.
What?
I know.
We were just asking if they, at the end of the year, if this team ends up being 500 and they go, 41-40, what is it, 41?
41-41.
It's kind of like...
That's in Coach of the Year status for Luke Walton. That's incredible.
Because here we are wondering if they'd have 5 wins by Christmas. Last year they had 17 total. Yeah. And, a 500 team, you look at the team, you're like, oh, they went 500. They're 41-40. They suck. But the expectations were so low for this fucking team that if they were to go 500 and hit 41-41, we're going to be like, oh.
We're good with it. They're showing progression. So anyways, Lakers are, they're in a good spot right now. When they get these injuries kind of, fixed here, we're going to be pretty good. I mean, as far as stats go, we've been talking about it. They're not a good defensive team right now, and that's fine. I mean, they're a young team, and defense takes a little time to get good on defense. You bring in defensive players like Luol Deng, who's not doing jack. He's supposed to be their defensive stopper. Stopping nobody. So that's bad. When you got, you've got Calderon starting in place of D'Angelo Russell. There's no defense there. Calderon can't stop anybody. They just go right by him. But we're gonna even with these injuries, we're staying around 500. That's good.
So what do you do going towards the trade deadline? Going towards the trade deadline,
I don't do anything.
If this team is hovering at 500 and they need that defender that can get them into the playoffs, do you trade some of your future draft picks or someone that you have that's coming off the bench for a defensive body?
I don't think any.
Personally,
teams...
I sit around. The way this team looks right now, they're going to be even better next year.
Yeah.
I sit around regardless of whatever's happening at the trade deadline.
Well, I mean, the only players that teams are going to want are Jordan Clarkson or Tariq Black, Tarek Black. They're going to want these young players that have potential. They might want Lou Williams, but Lou Williams is not. We're not trading our best scorer for a defensive player.
Right.
We won't get in the playoffs if we don't have Lou Williams at all. We won't win 40 games if we don't have Lou Williams. So they're keeping Lou Williams. He's a good deal.
Well, right now the Lakers are in a position they're not normally in. They're that team that can relieve cap space for other teams. Normally they're a team that's above the luxury tax.
Yes.
This year they're kind of like, well, we're nowhere near that. And then next year we're going to take on even more money.
We can take some players. I mean, the only tradable player I think that Lakers fans and the Lakers in general thought that maybe could get traded with his resurgence is Nick Young.
Yeah.
But again, if he's hurt,
and
if he's hurt for a month, that's going to really devalue his trade. Listen, I mean, I don't even think they should trade Nick Young. I mean, I think they should stand pat and do and build this team. Let Luke Walton instill whatever he's doing, whatever magic Luke Walton is instilling, and let him kind of just keep working that with this team, and then we go from there. And then we bring pieces on that are going to fit Luke Walton's system, because he's building a system right now, and they're buying into it. These young players play for each other, which is a huge difference than the last 4 years with this Laker team. When we had Dwight Howard, he didn't care about anybody else on the team. Kobe Bryant didn't really care about anybody else. Sorry, Laker fans, but he didn't care about anybody else on the team. These guys actually, I think, want to play for each other. So why mess that up? You know, I mean, who
well,
are we
he's
gonna
doing a
get?
good thing. He's building the chemistry, and that's why I'm looking forward to the trade deadline to see what Luke Walton does and his first offseason with the team to see how he works with management in acquiring people, moving bodies, doing stuff
Well,
with the
remember,
draft.
Luke Walton's not the GM. It's still Jim Buss.
It is still Jim Buss, but
and
at the same time,
Mitch Kupchak, who, by the way, we haven't heard those two names at all yet this year. Nobody's talking about Buss and Kupchak.
which is good because
which is
remember
really
last
good.
year we heard them left and right how we
Every
need to
day.
fire coaches
Every
and we
day.
need to do this. And I think the offseason will be cool because obviously they're seeing that Luke Walton's doing something. Why would you, and it pisses me off when this happens in like everyday life situations, why would you hire someone and not let them do their job?
Yeah.
In this case, they're letting him do his job. They're staying out of the press, and he's doing something that we didn't expect would happen so soon.
Yes.
So I think that when it comes to the trade deadline, when it comes to the offseason, they're going to be like, hey, we're really interested in this player. Do you think you can use him appropriately?
Oh, yeah. No, I think he'll be right in the mix of, look, Laker fans were giving Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak a hard time. Unfortunately, 4 years ago, Luke Walton wasn't ready to be a head coach. Maybe their plan all along was to bring Luke in. I doubt it. I think they got lucky with that. But they made a smart move. At this point, it's looking like a pretty smart move for the Laker organization. And no one's ripping on the Lakers. And that will get us to the Rams because there's a big difference between how the Lakers handle things and how the Rams handle things. So let's switch over to the Rams now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Rams. And, oh, God, guys. I mean, we're new Rams fans. You're not. You're like Rams fan version 2.0.
I was on hold for 20 years.
Yeah, I was not. So I'm new to this, and I remember that opening kickoff for Game 1. Was it Game 1 or against San Francisco, or was it the first preseason game?
I don't know which.
Opening kickoff though, the other team ran it back, and I was like, "Fuck, is this what I'm getting myself into?"
Yes.
And apparently, yeah, that's what I was getting myself into. So, guys, the Rams are 4-7. My bold prediction of them going 10-6 is out the window. Curtis said that Todd Gurley would get 2,000 rushing yards this year. He has 640 yards.
He'll get 1,000.
Nah.
Yeah.
He's projected to hit 930. He has 640 yards on 200 carries. I think there's 5 games left.
Yeah.
So that's out the window.
Those predictions are.
We can still make the playoffs though because no.
Let's face it.
7-3-1. The Seahawks are 2.5 games above us. With 5 games to go. We'd
have to run the
mathematically
table.
We could do it, but we got the Patriots this week, so I don't think that's going to happen. But
We'll
still,
get to that, yeah.
we're talking about how this is. Let's be honest here, right? The Kings are here, the Lakers are here, the Dodgers are here, the Rams are back, but it's a Lakers town.
USC's here.
USC is here.
UCLA's here.
There's so many things to do in Los Angeles. So we always talked about how LA may not be an NFL team. The NFL was gone for 5 years or some bullshit?
Yeah.
They were gone for 20-some years. And in that time, this generation of people grew up, and they became Kings fans and Dodger fans. This has always been a Lakers town. It will always be a Lakers town. USC, UCLA, there's Disneyland and shopping and restaurants, and there's a million fucking things to do than to waste your afternoon on a team that sucks. And even the Lakers last year, who sucked, we're getting amazing ratings. It's a Lakers town. Even right now that they're losing and they're below 500, people still tune in because they're exciting to watch.
Yeah.
If the Rams were exciting to watch, people would tune in, but they're not exciting.
So if they're exciting and still losing, people would tune in.
Because people would have hope.
So the TV ratings are bad for the. Let's talk about.
Let's talk about TV ratings in the Los Angeles market. Every fucking week, the Rams lose out to the other 2 out-of-town games. Now,
one of those could be the Raiders.
One of them is always the Raiders. Yeah. This last week it was
there's more Raider fans than Rams fans in Los Angeles.
Which I would get. If the Rams and Raiders were 1 and 2 and they would switch back and forth week to week, I'd get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd get it. Yeah. And that's not what's happening. What's happening is every week they're getting beat by Pittsburgh in the Los Angeles market. Yeah. They're getting beat by the Cowboys, by the Patriots. They're getting beat by the Bears. It's like people are not tuning in, and I understand there's other things to do on a Sunday afternoon. People are watching hockey. People are spending time with their families. They're going to Disneyland. People are doing other shit. But in St. Louis, the average rating was always above a 10.6, okay? They never got any lower than a 10.6, and the 10.6 was the lowest rating they ever had. And you know what happened that day that they got a 10.6?
What?
The St. Louis Cardinals were playing in the fucking World Series. Okay, because assuming the Cardinals were not in the World Series that night, they would have gotten better than 10.6. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams of Los Angeles, have only gotten a 10.6 or higher week 1 and week 2.
Yeah, and now the luster's
they're getting their ass. Look, they're getting their ass kicked every Sunday by The Walking Dead. They're getting their ass kicked every Sunday by the other 2 NFL games. This last week, they lost to USC Notre Dame. It's a rivalry game. I get it.
Yeah.
But they're just barely beating the Lakers, who play 3-4 days a week.
Yeah.
Same with the Kings.
Yeah. They're barely beating the Kings?
Yeah, so
Wow.
So is Los Angeles
we know that
ready?
Hockey's tough.
Yeah,
in Los
we know
Angeles.
that hockey's a tough sell here. But are the Rams? Is Los Angeles ready for the Rams?
Well, it's no. Okay, listen. I mean, we're just
the excitement was here preseason, week 1, week 2. We're still excited, but is the general public excited?
It's early, so this is a long game. This is a long game, but I'll tell you what doesn't excite people, just the casual fan. What doesn't excite them?
Losing.
Well, losing, and the head coach who casual fan just sees the record and hears all this shit about Jeff Fisher, and then hears that that he gets involved with some sort of phone conversation with arguably the greatest Ram ever, Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson.
Who?
Isn't he like the most popular all-time
Yeah,
Ram?
I'm sure he is.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Listen, who my age? I'm a millennial. I fall into the millennial age group. Who my age? Who anybody that was not around for the Rams in 1994 or old enough to remember the Rams in 1994 know who Eric Dickerson is?
Look, if you go to the Coliseum,
same example. Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Everyone knows who Magic Johnson retired when I was like 5 years old because of the AIDS thing, right? I never saw Magic Johnson play, and if I did, I don't remember. But if Eric Dickerson were to walk into Spago, no one would turn their head. But if Magic Johnson were to fucking walk in, everybody would be like, what?
Obviously.
Because Magic Johnson has stayed in Los Angeles, and he's been actively involved with the community, with the Lakers as a public figure, with the Dodgers as a public figure. What's Eric Dickerson done?
So you're saying
I know who Eric Dickerson is because I've had interactions with Eric Dickerson as a kid, as a teenager, and I can tell you that Eric Dickerson's an asshole.
Maybe he's not now.
Maybe he's not now, but my personal experience is that he's an asshole. My personal experience with Magic Johnson is that Magic Johnson's a nice guy, and that's why people like him.
Okay, now here's the deal. Magic is obviously a bit... Okay, so Magic ripped on the Lakers the last 3 years constantly. And we talked about this in this show last year, that he ripped on the Lakers. And there was a battle between
and we rip on him, remember? He didn't want to sign Greinke?
We do, when it was for the Dodgers. But here's the deal. Magic, the Lakers handled it differently. They said, okay, look, Magic is critical of our team. We get it. Jeannie Buss would say, we love Magic. They would never kick Magic.
That's different, though. Jeannie Buss is like a saint.
Even Jimba.
I can guarantee you that one day when she passes away, the Mexicans of Los Angeles will try and canonize her.
Oh, for sure. Not even the Mexicans. Everybody in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
She'll have a statue out in front of Staples Center. But here's the deal. The Magic Johnson, when he was ripping on the Lakers hardcore for 4 years straight, constantly, when it was D'Antoni and then his buddy Byron Scott, he was even ripping on, that team. The Lakers still stood behind Magic. The Lakers organization, even
Magic Johnson was part owner of the Lakers.
He gave up ownership
when he went with the Guggenheim Group, but he was part owner at the tail end of that. He was part owner at the tail end of that when Dr. Buss passed away. He was just kind of like crap. Kind of like when the In-N-Out family passed away, and everyone was concerned that the new daughter would get it, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen to In-N-Out?" That's how he felt about the Lakers. That's what people were doing. Okay. It was dark times.
I get that.
Dark times.
I get what you're saying, but the thing about it is Magic was saying all this stuff, and he's very influential in the public.
Right. Eric Dickerson is not, because Magic Johnson.
Are you sure about that?
Magic Johnson, day to day, is involved with the community of Los Angeles all the time.
That's true. But
Eric Dickerson has a show. I have a show.
Okay.
We have a show right now.
He has a show every day on the radio in Los Angeles, those of you who don't know, in the morning. And he knows more about football than we do.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, listen, look, I don't even care what the squabble is, but the fact that the head coach is calling a former Hall of Fame player and saying, look, you're not allowed on our sidelines because you're ripping on our team, that's stupid to me.
It's one of those things.
Would Bill Belichick do that, Dave? Would Bill Belichick even have anything to do with a former player on the sidelines or even talk about it at all? No, the GM would.
No.
Right?
Not in the media.
No,
not in the media.
Not in the media. But here's the thing. Like we were telling Dave earlier, Bill Belichick would not say anything publicly in the media, but what he would have done with Eric Dickerson is that he would have gotten the NFL to trade Eric Dickerson's Rams jersey and turn it into a Browns jersey in the Hall of Fame. That's what he would have done.
He would have had them recarve the sculpture.
Yes, that's what he would have done.
Maybe.
Like, no discussion, just boom.
He's a Brown. He never was a Ram.
Exactly. That's what he would have done. But different organizations handle things differently. This is one of those situations where it's like, oh, yeah? Well, you're fired. Well, you can't fire me because I quit, because that's what happened. But my point he's not welcome on the sideline so long as I'm the coach. Oh, yeah? Well, so long as you're the coach, I don't want to be on the sidelines. That's what that turned into. It turned into like a little high school girl squabble.
It totally is.
But
here's the problem.
Fisher was like, you know what? I don't fucking care. If you want to be on the sideline, that's fine. Be on the sideline. That's what he said yesterday.
He backtracked.
That's what he said yesterday. And I don't like Jeff Fisher as a coach, but I have to agree with Jeff Fisher because it's like, listen, who are you? This is my fucking team. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
I get that.
And you haven't done anything for this team or this community in the last 25 fucking years. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's what I would have said.
But on the other side of that,
I'm not going to listen to a guy that helped give SMU a death penalty.
Okay. On the other side of that is that Fisher is, first of all, he is alienating a whole group of fans that love Eric Dickerson. I mean, love this guy.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that loves Eric Dickerson.
Dude.
Do you love Eric Dickerson?
He was one of my favorite players.
Do you love him as much as you love Magic?
No.
Okay then.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, that's apples and oranges. The Magic won 5
No, you're telling me that Eric Dickerson's an LA Rams legend. It would be like you can't. It's like you're trying to put Eric Dickerson. You're trying to put Eric Dickerson in the same boat as Magic Johnson, Luke Robitaille, Kirk Gibson. Even though Kirk Gibson was only here for a couple of years, Fernando Valenzuela, Kobe now. Who else?
Well, I think you could get him close to that level. He's not on that same level, but he's.
I guarantee you, more people in this city love Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush more than they love Eric Dickerson.
Listen, Dickerson's right below maybe Steve Garvey, or right around that range, and people love Steve Garvey. If the Dodgers said, Steve Garvey, you're not allowed to come to Dodger games anymore, Dodger fans would fucking freak out. They really would, and you know that.
My dad would. My dad likes to talk about the 80s infield.
I love Garvey. I love Say, Lopes, Garvey, the whole way. If the 80s infield wasn't allowed in Dodger Stadium anymore because
what did they do?
Because they were ripping on the Dodgers, and they're not allowed in the press box or in the club boxes anymore. And then look, I've seen Ron say in the stadium club that guy puts away a lot of food in the stadium club. If he is not allowed in the stadium club anymore, fans would revolt. And so this is the same thing, I think, is that you're getting rid of a player. You're saying, we don't care about this player. He's detriment to our team. But yet, why not be constructive about it?
Exactly. Be constructive about it.
Well, they didn't. He didn't, and Dickerson
didn't. They didn't because they just got into a fight.
But what Dickerson could say is, look, I'm here to help out the Rams.
But he's not.
Okay, don't think
he's here to criticize. Okay, listen, it really annoys the shit out of me. Well, look, you and I are a bunch of assholes on the internet that have this video podcast, number one LA Kings video podcast, by the way.
We're moving up on the number one.
We're moving up. We're moving up on the number one everything too.
Okay.
Well, Dodger Fan Weekly's ducking us. Anyways, I digress. It really annoys the shit out of me when a celebrity is a fan, or a fan happens to be a celebrity, and they feel that their opinion of the team has more influence than anybody else. I don't feel that just because I'm on the internet talking shit, I don't feel that my opinion has more influence. This is just my opinion. Granted, most of my opinions are in fact facts, but it's like when everyone loves Snoop Dogg, right? Everyone's like, hey, Snoop Dogg's really cool. Never mind the fact that he was like tried for murder and does all this other stuff and whatever, right? Today he's a really cool guy because he does a lot of like crossovers with pop music and he's a pop cultural icon. And he can go on the internet and start ripping on people and people are like, oh yeah, Snoop Dogg says this, and he feels that he can say that, and it's kind of like, why do you feel? And I'm not picking on Snoop Dogg, but I'm just using him as the example. Like, why do you feel that you as a celebrity have more influence or should influence a professional team because of what your opinions are?
I get it. But this is
I'm on the same boat. I'm on the same boat with Snoop Dogg. I think Jeff Fisher should be fired. I agree with Dickerson. His opinion on when we should have started Goff, we were on board with that, and we should fire Jeff Fisher.
So you think the Rams should shut him out?
I, as an organization, if I'm Kroenke or if I'm the GM, if I'm Jeff Fisher, I tell these celebrities, I tell these ex-players that are trying to run their mouth, shut the fuck up.
Well, why?
Because like
I'm not critical.
Be critical, but I'm not going to allow you to be critical and then come into my house.
Okay.
Like, hey, Curtis, your wife's cooking sucks, dude. But can I come over for dinner?
Okay, good point.
Right?
I like that point. I don't know. I just think the whole thing was handled poorly on both sides.
Because they made it public.
Well, Dickerson made it public. Fisher called him apparently, but Fisher didn't say, I called the ED and said he couldn't be on the sidelines.
ED?
Eric Dickerson.
Erectile dysfunction?
ED was the one who made it public on the radio, so it is kind of on him a little bit there. But I feel like that as a Rams organization, you cannot shut out your leading all-time rusher and the only Hall of Famer you've had in 25 years. You can't shut that guy out. But you just can't do it. Bring him in somehow.
It was such a long time ago.
But bring him in another.
You could.
The Dodgers trot Koufax out every other fucking game. So bring him back in another capacity. Bring him back some other way. Koufax never was a friendly guy. We know that. Koufax was not a friendly guy.
He wasn't. You know what? Neither was Tommy Lasorda. Okay?
But
I have personally got into arguments with Tommy Lasorda, okay? Because he's crazy.
Exactly.
But here's the difference. The difference is that they've always been here. They've always been around. They've always been... And Eric Dickerson didn't move away. He's always been here. Why haven't you been in the public eye? Why haven't you done something? Why weren't you actively going, hey, let's bring the Rams back to Los Angeles?
Okay.
Why is it now that it's fucking convenient for you because you have a fucking show that you're going to start running your mouth?
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit because we could talk about this for an hour.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting fired up now.
Nice.
God damn it.
Listen, we have a few minutes left, so we played poorly against the Saints on defense, and part of that was probably because
our defensive coordinator was their defensive coordinator,
and they had his number.
And yeah, Sean Payne just wanted to fucking light him up.
So that was an embarrassing game, but Goff looked better.
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. He had the interception. He had the pick, which was a poor throw. He had a few poor throws in that game.
Yeah, because I feel like he overthrows the ball a little bit.
He has such a gun.
He's got a fucking cannon of an arm.
I think he overthrows, but I think the Rams players just can't catch the heat.
Or it doesn't help that our receivers are 5'9" and 5'11".
I guess. Now, look, we play the Patriots. Let's talk to our resident Patriot fan, Dave.
Dave?
Who you'll see his picture here of Dave. This is a good picture of Dave right here in his Brady jersey. Let's talk to our resident Patriot fan. What is going to be the final score of the Patriots-Rams game on Sunday? And
it's in New England.
It's in New England.
It's in New England, and it's the anniversary game of the 2001 Super Bowl that made Tom Brady a demigod.
So Tom Brady is still on the team. The Rams have no players on the team from that.
And Tom Brady's still winning Super Bowls and being all crazy.
What's going to be the score?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What do you mean
you can't give me a bold prediction?
No bold predictions.
No bold
from Dave.
predictions.
That's terrible. Listen, it's going to be 40
terrible.
degrees.
What kind of a fan is that? I'd be running my mouth.
Terrible
I would
fan.
be like,
He
listen,
has his jersey, though.
40 degrees. We're going to fucking light you up. It's going to be like 45-3 at the half. We're going to sack Goff. That's what I would be saying if I'm a Patriots fan.
In Dave's mind, he's thinking right now 55-4.
55.
2 safeties.
2 safeties. I was going to say, how do you get
I don't even
points?
know. 55-3. Well, a field goal.
And then Mrs. Brady will be there?
Florence Henderson?
No, my friend texted me the other day because I was busy. I was not on the internet at all. And she texted me the other day and she's all like, hey, did you hear about Mrs. Brady? My initial reaction was, what happened
Florence
to Giselle?
Henderson.
No, it was what happened to Giselle.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was like, no, you idiot, Florence Henderson died. I was like, who? Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm a millennial. I'm 29 years old.
I'd be bummed if Giselle died.
I mean, I sort of remember the show, and it sucks that someone passed away, but my initial reaction when they said, hey, something happened to Mrs. Brady was what happened to Giselle.
Yeah.
That was my initial reaction.
Sure. Dave, does Giselle go to the games?
Yeah, remember during the Super Bowl when she ripped on and was like, my husband cannot throw the ball and catch it?
Okay.
That's the Super Bowl.
Does she go to the games, though?
I think she stays at home and watches. Depending on where it's at.
Okay, because the viewership would go way up.
Do they live in New England?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a house here in California.
Of course.
Oh. Because Tom Brady's from California.
Yeah, he's from Northern California.
The viewership would go way up if she's at the game for Rams fans.
Yeah, and it's the same thing where we've had these rumors recently about Detroit wanting to trade Justin Verlander to the Dodgers. It's like him and Kate Upton come as a package deal. So you can cut to her in the stands, but really with the Rams being on offense, you could cut to Giselle, and it'll be like a Skype cam that's in their living room.
They could do that. She doesn't have
They
to
might
be at the
do that.
stadium.
Our offense is fucking terrible.
She could be like making a grilled cheese sandwich and shit.
I would tune in for that.
I would tune in for that. I think Rams fans would probably tune in for Giselle making grilled cheese sandwiches for the kids. They got kids, right? They got kids. Of course they got kids. They're probably amazingly gorgeous. So watch if they're ugly. Wouldn't it be fucking awesome if their kids grow up and they're fucking dog-ass ugly? Giselle and Tom. They're not going to be ugly. We know that. We know it. But we could dream. Okay, so what's our gift of the day? I
Our gift of the day is Dwight Howard getting into it with the Lakers fan after the Lakers game, because apparently this fan called him a bitch, and Dwight Howard's like, why don't you come call me a bitch to my face? And the fans of Los Angeles still don't like Dwight Howard because they felt that he bitched out when he decided to leave. And Shaq called him out on that. Some people can't handle the bright lights of Los Angeles.
Everybody
live up to the expectations of wearing that purple and gold.
Yeah. He couldn't.
He's
in Atlanta, his hometown.
But isn't that like the ultimate dream? Like get assaulted by a celebrity? Like a billion, no, he's not a billionaire, but like a multi-millionaire celebrity?
Yeah, he would have been fined.
That's the American dream right there.
He would have been fined.
You get assaulted. I mean, you get your ass kicked. Dwight Howard would probably kick your ass. But you get assaulted.
Dude.
You sue him, and easy peasy.
All right.
You're set for life. Anyways, guys, that's been our show. Don't forget to stalk us on Twitter at Best Coast Show. You can find all the behind-the-scenes stuff on the Instagram and also at Best Coast Show. Don't forget to check out our website, bestcoastshow.com, for all the articles, news, and updates. And, feel free to find us anywhere that podcasts are heard, like Stitcher, iTunes, right?
Yep.
Where else?
Pocket Casts.
Pocket Casts. He likes to use Pocket Casts. I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's been our show, and you have a good night.